Welcome, everyone. This is the week of June 9th, and this is another episode of Den Excelsior, the mostly Marvel podcast. I'm your host, Ricky. Last week, we entered the Spider-Verse, and this week, we're going across the Spider-Verse. So we're talking about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and joining me to talk about all the nerdiness that happened is, of course, Dennis and favorite friend of the show, Clark.
Hello.
Without the sound check, too.
Yeah, we're hoping for gold on that one.
Yeah.
My sound is golden.
Nice. Excellent. Yeah, you got us a little scared there, Clark. You were right down to the wire.
Sorry, I forgot that when I accept a Google invite, it deletes the email from the thing, and I had to go to my Google Calendar to get the link, and that was a little down to the wire.
Gotcha. Thanks for being here, man.
Absolutely.
The plan, I said last week, was the dream team was Clark, Frank together to talk about Spider-Man with us. Sadly, Clark, you couldn't make it last week, and Frank couldn't make it this week. But I got each of you, and so I'm happy about that.
But I couldn't make it last week because I was actually watching Spider-Man.
I know.
Wait, you committed to a Spider-Man show for watching Spider-Man?
Well,
you forgot.
I had forgot because I got the tickets so far in advance. Yeah, and I messed up my scheduling a little bit, but Dennis was very understanding. So I'm here today.
With you guys and the audience. And as always, if you can't get enough of this video of our Patreon, patreon.com/denxmedia. That's where you'll find links to the show and links to the live post show, the Soapbox. Where are we talking about stuff there today again?
I'm down.
All right.
mean, so here's I do want to give a caveat on that. So last week's Soapbox was pretty gnarly. I feel like we got I think we got a lot of the negativity out of our system because we spoiled Across the Spider-Verse on that show because it's a private show that we only show to the patrons. We did a preliminary version of this since we couldn't have, luckily because we can't have Frank here today. So I did get to hear all of his opinions on the movie, but I highly recommend you watch this episode of this show and that Soapbox whenever you get a chance, because they might be two very different versions of me. It's pretty funny, but yeah, I'm down to do it again today if you want.
Yeah, we'll do a little Soapbox action.
Okay.
Clark, it's been a month, some change since we had you on the show. What's new with you?
I finished up my internship at NPR, which was awesome, and so now I'm working on doing some of my editing and getting my reels together. So basically, it's a little summer vacation to do some work at home. So that's what I'm up to. So.
Every time there's a pledge drive, I'll get a call from a number in, I think, Glendale. And it always throws me off guard, and I pick it up, and it's like, no, I can't get more money now.
No, I live in Alhambra now. That's not for me. But you should.
Yeah. No,
I'm a sustaining member. I get $5
Support
every
your
month.
Public radio.
Absolutely.
That's for everyone.
Even when I worked there, I still gave $5.
The correct answer to what are you up to is Fortnite on with Optimus Prime.
Yes, Fortnite with Optimus Prime, which dropped this morning, which is awesome.
So Ricky, I know we weren't planning on doing a show for that movie, but the Rise of the Beasts, I think you watched it. How was it?
I'm seeing it this weekend, so no spoilers.
It's the same. It's a slice of cake from the Bumblebee cake, right? Is that a good analogy? If you like the Bumblebee movie, you'll probably like this one. They throw a curveball at the very end that I think is a true not spoiler curveball, but just like out of left field, and that's enough of a hook to get me to go see whatever's next. So,
I mean, I don't think people need much of a hook to keep watching those, right? Like
They're
that's
fun movies. Like
people like watching them. I can't do it anymore in the theaters. Like
the NPR movie review thing on the radio today, and they were talking about it, and it's just more of the same. You're either on board with the robot action on robot fighting action, or you're not.
I'm just saying, some of them make me go to sleep. They're so long.
The Mark Wahlberg ones are just no. They're just bloated and such. So, but I liked Bumblebee, and so I like the new design. I like that they went back to the old design.
I remember saying that I liked Bumblebee, but I've never watched Bumblebee again after watching Bumblebee. Like, so
I have, and
okay, fair enough. It's just
John Cena action.
Like Bumblebee's like the Fast Five of Transformers. It kind of just like resets it a little bit for the better.
Okay.
That's pretty funny.
They'll get a little better, and after that, 6 is pretty good, and then they're gonna get bad again. But
fair enough. I was just curious. I may go see it at some point, or I may just watch it when it's on Paramount Plus. But we do recognize that they're hero stories that we have not touched yet on this show.
Saying we're gonna do all the Transformers movies.
I don't know. Are we?
I would do Bumblebee again. I think.
Fair enough.
Man, I would do the OG Transformers, the movie.
That was a good year.
The one where the Transformer pees on a guy?
Yeah, no, I mean the animated.
Oh, sorry, the original, the animated. Okay,
the one that affected my childhood.
Yeah,
teaching me.
The problem is, I feel like every time we try to do the nostalgia ones like that, we make Ricky watch them, and then we're like, all right, objectively, it's not that good. It's not, right? But I feel bad for Ricky sometimes when we make him do those. But I would be interested if you'd want to watch that one, Ricky.
On that same note, speaking of objectively bad movies, I watched Kingdom of the Crystal Skull again this week. God. That is the only Indiana Jones movie I have seen. I saw that movie in theaters. I had not seen it since. I don't think it's that bad. Am I wrong?
You know
what? Are the other ones that much better?
No, well, yes.
Yes, they are.
But when I watched it again, and I watched it again earlier this year, it wasn't as bad, partly because I already knew the taste, was different. It was like that first initial showing was that was the disappointment. Now, when I watched it again and I knew kind of what was coming, I just, again, reminded myself that George Lucas is making this for kids.
Did Lucas make that or Spielberg make that one?
Lucas produced it, and it has his flavor all over it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I still,
There's a Club Obi-Wan in the movies too.
That's
but the third one,
it's in Temple of Doom.
Sorry, not.
Oh, Temple of Doom. That's right. Yeah.
Not the what I'm saying. In Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, who directed that one?
Spielberg directed it, but Lucas wrote the story and produced it. So that's just why I say that it's got his. I mean, if Lucas was a spice, he was heavily.
Yeah. I mean, from my only other experience of Indiana Jones, just outside of pop culture, is the ride, and it's like it's kind of reminds me of the ride in some dumb ways when they're getting chased and running away from shit. Like,
Ricky, you like the prequels? It's right up your alley. That's what it is.
I got a movie pass this month, so we can go watch all the movies coming out, but specifically to go watch The Dial of Destiny.
Specifically for that,
because that would be that movie. When I go watch it, would have put me over the edge if I don't have a movie pass. A lot of shit came out this month.
Gotcha. I see what you're saying. I thought you meant like you got your movie pass specifically to watch Dial of Destiny.
No.
Really? Like
a lot of stuff comes out in June.
Okay, fair enough. I would have thought it'd be Across the Spider-Verse is the reason, and then everything else is a bonus, right?
I mean, if I watch one IMAX movie a month, that's the cost of my A-list. And then if I watch more than one movie a month, which I do, the rest is bonus.
You know, we're not sponsored by any of these people.
We are not. This is just how we watch the movies that we go to watch.
I learned, speaking of A-list, that Nicole Kidman AMC. I didn't know that was in LA. It's up north a bit.
What are we talking about right now, guys?
You don't go to AMC. You want to know?
Yes. When movies came back to the theaters.
No, I know she does the obnoxious
Yes.
Yeah, the movie theater that she's at. I didn't realize that was here, or up in Clarke and I's turf. So it's like a mecca now. You have to go.
So is it time for the news?
Well, we got. You want this in the news? You want to talk about it now? Because you were busy this week too.
Oh, I guess we'll talk about that now. I consider that breaking news, though.
That's right.
That's a picture of me accepting an award. I asked Ricky to include this, so shameless plug. No, the reason I wanted you to include this is because, so I do toy photography, and I have a photo that I recently made that has so far won 2 awards, most recently at the Del Mar County Fair, or San Diego County Fair, whichever you call it. But the reason I wanted to include it is because I think it's a really cool piece of art that I made. I know that's a weird thing to say, but it's using Peter B. Parker. And I love this toy. I love one of the things I love the most about Peter B. Parker is he's like we've said before on the show, easiest cosplay ever. But as a toy, he looks like a normal dude. But just slightly weird proportions, right? So I just thought it was really fun, and it was just something tangentially related to Spider-Verse, and also to celebrate my accomplishments and let people know that these are the kind of things you can find on DenX Media.
Award-winning content on that Patreon.
Yeah, exactly.
And there is so much more.
Yeah, so much more not award-winning content.
But just as awesome. He is a fantastic photographer.
Thanks. Third person, huh?
That's right.
Well, swinging it back to the first person, I present you the news.
Oh, the master of segues.
Oh man, that was a good one. I'm proud of that one.
Was that good?
Well, I'm proud, just like I think we're all proud of the name change. Captain America New World Order is now titled Captain America Brave New World.
I mean,
discuss.
Do you really care? I don't care.
I think New World Order is kind of a New World Order is a charged phrase.
I totally get it just because of the stupid politics of today. As a comic book fan, I don't care.
Brave New World's not a Cap comic though, right? Or is it?
I feel like it was a comic
when I was reading about it.
Title.
I mean, it's a iconic science fiction novel. You know, it has its name, but you know, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it could be Captain America Flowers.
It could be Captain America who ate my spaghetti.
Yes.
I'm still gonna see it. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. What are you thinking of the new suit?
I can't tell that it looks that different.
Well, it's lost a lot of the white.
Yeah.
The white in the head thing.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, I see now. It's because the whole suit was basically white, right?
I mean it was the comic suit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never mind.
But I mean, this is what comics do. They change costumes.
Gotta sell a new toy.
Gotta sell the new toys. And I haven't seen it in action. We don't know how much of the movie might be the white suit and then this suit. I mean, I don't know. I really liked when Captain America's his Winter Soldier suit was awesome.
Yeah, that was a good suit. That was a really good suit.
You know, I can't tell just from a side view of this, but it looks good, and I think it's gonna look good. You know, we'll see.
If I would have told you 15 years ago, hey, Harrison Ford's gonna play the Red Hulk, just give it some time. Would you believe me?
Well, 15 years ago.
No.
I mean, that's still cool, right? I know
Yeah.
the casting was announced a long time ago, but
Yeah.
it's still a trip.
I
They're
don't
pulling.
know that it's cool, but I hope that it's cool.
Yeah. I mean, he does angry old man really well, so I think that'll work for a whole.
Typecast.
If we're talking about peak actors to get from that generation, I think Michael Douglas was their get. That's a big get, dude. Michael Douglas was way bigger in
You
the
got
80s
him like 3 times.
Well,
I know. I'm just saying, like, it's an amazing get. Harrison Ford is a big get too, but the quality of acting is.
But I'm sorry, Sam Elliott will always be my Thunderbolt Ross.
Yes,
Sam Elliott was just perfect.
He was Thunderbolt Ross what J.K. Simmons is to J. Jonah. Yeah. Agreed. I haven't liked any of the other ones since, but I'm willing to give Harrison Ford a chance. I'm
the best of chances to Harrison Ford.
Yeah. We'll see.
Up and coming actor Harrison Ford.
It's so interesting. Yeah, these big stars that do their one Marvel movie so they could bring it their grandkids or kids.
I mean, I like that they're coming to play.
Yeah.
You know, if you want a house, you do 6 weeks of work and then you're good to go. Get a new house in the hills.
There you go, Ricky.
Coming later this year, announced yesterday at the Summer Games Fest.
So pretty.
I got to be there live to see this announcement. Spider-Man 2 coming October 20th. And they also announced the details on screen, which are the collector's edition. You get the steelbook, some extra skins, and of course this beautiful 19-inch Venom, Miles, and Peter statue.
Is it weird that I'm more excited for Mortal Kombat 1?
Yes.
That was my highlight of that show. MK1
that was an amazing trailer. Amazing.
That being said, I will totally agree with you that those are the best backgrounds that I've ever seen in a fighting game. And I've never wanted to play a fighting game more just for the backgrounds.
Dude.
Did you watch the show or did you see the trailer?
I watched the show.
Okay.
Dude, those backgrounds were amazing.
Those level designs are just stunning. That
the combos they were doing were amazing too. Like I loved watching all of it.
Jean-Claude Van Damme is going to be Johnny Cage voicing and Colt.
It's just Mortal Kombat is just too over the top violent for me. But
yeah, no, I get it. I'm not. That is not to say that I'm not super excited for Spider-Man.
But
2.
Yeah,
I am.
It's just a flavor thing. But I could see the artistry and the work is just gorgeous. I mean,
one got my heart pumping, and the other one is like, yeah, I'm happy to go back there again. I'm very excited to do that.
That's how I feel about Spider-Man. I'm really excited.
Yeah,
I can't wait for this.
I'm sure it'll be an excellent game. The first one is very, very fun. So, and then Miles is even better, I think, than the
now, have they said, since they're calling it Mortal Kombat 1, is this just starting over?
The end of the last game, you create a new timeline. Yeah, and you reset the universe. So they basically did a Star Trek at the end of their last game.
Okay, because I liked seeing like young Raiden, and it was cool seeing the younger versions of some of the established characters.
From the trailer, it felt like they're following the new movie where they're just kind of people that are getting recruited into this thing.
But yeah, the character design is just stunning. It looks like a stunning game, like a game of. There's so much love put into that game, Mortal Kombat 1, that I could totally see it just from watching the trailer. Yeah. So I'm very, very happy for you.
Spider-Man 2 looks good. Mortal Kombat 1 looks better.
That's the truth. I mean, that is the truth.
Agree,
hey, by the way,
I
don't know. Did we say hi to? We said hi to Ian, right? Thanks for watching this right now. He's happy to see you at the helm, Ricky.
It's my show again. I'm never giving back.
Get ready to chime in on all the Spider-Verse in a little while. We're almost there.
Last little bit of news for the week coming here soon. We're getting the Predator versus Wolverine. I know Predator versus Batman was a favorite of yours, Dennis.
Predator versus Batman was amazing.
Predator versus Batman is one of the best Predator stories ever told.
Yes, absolutely.
That's
you-
why I don't have any excitement for this. This
I mean-
will just be Wolverine killing a predator.
Yeah.
That's literally what this. Are we in any way like
Wait,
convinced
does
otherwise?
Batman kill the Predator in that story?
He defeats him with the
He
he
beats him.
defeats him with the Louisville Slugger bat, and it's
Yeah,
amazing.
but he sends him walking
Yeah.
home to Mama.
Yeah.
I mean, the Wolverine will do the same thing.
Do you and I know the same Wolverine you're talking about right now?
I mean, this kind of reminds me of the Superman versus Aliens crossover, where
Again, that's a pointless fight, right?
it was a pointless fight. But the most interesting part was when the alien planted the egg and Superman just throws it up out in space because the chest burster can't burst through his chest. So we'll see if they do something interesting with the powers. But
they'll probably do the exact same thing, except he will burst. Or this is Predator. This is Predator.
I just want to see the Predator
get
like
annihilated by Predator.
Yeah, and then grow back.
Yeah.
The net will slice him up, and then it can't cut through the adamantium, and then he'll.
If you guys have never watched Bat in the Sun, if you ever want to know any weird versus battle that could only ever happen in crossovers, Bat in the Sun does all of them. I'm sure that one exists. Have you ever seen them?
No.
They make full on videos of like fantasy fights.
Is that like Death Battle? Have you seen Death Battle?
It's probably
the same thing. But yeah, okay.
Bat in the Sun does ones. One of the best ones I've ever seen is Spider-Man versus Darth Maul. And the way they do it is they actually let the fans vote for.
I think we're talking about the same thing because that's exactly the way Death Battle works. It's just different names. Yeah, they let the fans vote and the fans decide. And sometimes they do animated stuff. Sometimes it's live action.
I feel like Wolverine's fought Predator before in somebody else's mind, and that's why we're getting it. And good for them. Go Wolverine.
Go Marvel Legends. We got some new ones this week.
Segue master. I love it. Yes, we did. I put these in here. Thanks for adding them.
Is that Captain America? I know it's not.
That is okay. So here's the new wave for the Marvels, which got a new trailer this week, I believe.
That looks just like that.
Yes. So we have it's a mixed wave of movie and comic figures. So we have Captain Marvel and or Spectrum is her name Spectrum, right? Yeah.
I think it's called Photon though.
But I thought they were calling her Photon.
Oh, Photon. Sorry, I'm thinking of somebody else. Yeah, Photon is what they're going to call her. She has been called Spectrum before in the comics, though. Different version of her later. I think. Anyways, those figures freaking look like them, and it's nuts. It is crazy.
Yeah, those are some good sculpts.
Yeah,
they just need a sash.
And then speaking of accurate head sculpts, go to the next one. Oh man, what do you guys think of that Kamala face?
They did her dirty. Also, no mask. She doesn't have a mask in the trailer, and I think that's weird. Right?
Oh, she doesn't.
Yeah, she doesn't.
I mean, she doesn't need it in space, I guess. Yeah. Right, but still.
And you heard what they're doing to her in the comics, right?
She died.
They're killing her. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anything, Clark.
And that's true. They're temporarily removing her for a few months by saying she's dead.
Fair enough. Yeah.
It's cool looking Iron Man though.
Yeah, that is this Iron Man, right? This is Heroes Return Iron Man.
Yeah.
It's after the Heroes Reborn story where it was really, really weird. It
looks like my modular Iron Man.
This is the funniest thing about Iron Man, man. There is no end to the amount of suits they give us, and I love it. I freaking love it. Some more comic book figures. This is Commander Steve Rogers with a transparent like holographic shield.
Oh, the holo shield.
Yeah, that this is actually the second time they made this figure. Trust me, this one looks way better. And then Marvel Boy, the first figure of him in this costume. He's also a Young Avenger. It's giving me hopes, man. They might actually give us Young Avengers figures. That's just really cool. And then the next ones that they have available are also making me filled with despair and hope at the same time. The first ever Karnak figure.
He looks pretty cool. No?
I think he looks like Karnak.
Yeah.
I think the totally awesome Hulk Build-A-Figure looks better.
Is that Amadeus Cho Hulk?
That is Amadeus Cho Hulk.
Is that the Endgame Hulk body?
It might be. You might be right, Ricky. That might be Endgame Hulk. Yeah. But it is an appropriate body type for Amadeus. Amadeus,
A little slimmer.
a little bit, right, Clark? Just a
Yeah.
tiny bit slimmer. Yeah. Just yeah. But those are cool figures. I'm very excited for those. What do you think about Karnak, Clark?
I'm used to the Jay Lee Karnak. So, this I have seen this Karnak, and as it looks really good as if for the comic for that side, but yeah, it's not the Karnak that I was introduced to the
Inhumans.
Inhumans from when Jay Lee did his run on it, and
Yeah.
so
I
it's just
have-
a little different look, but
I have
that's
the
a
Marvel
instant
hip hop
greenhead.
Karnak comic, and that's what he looks like.
They did well with the cape, with the
loincloth.
loincloth and stuff. So he's still very posable.
It just makes me wonder, like, dude, this, just to be clear, this is the third Inhuman they've ever given us in 21 years of collecting this line.
Yeah.
And actually, I've gotten 2 Black Bolts. They've given me 2. So I have Black Bolt, Medusa, and then one day I will now own Karnak. How many decades is it going to take me to complete this set of figures?
I mean, that's all you want, right? Who else? Which other
You
ones?
need a
You get a dog.
Lockjaw.
You need Triton. You need Maximus. You need
Is
a
there
scaled
Lockjaw?
Lockjaw. You need
Crystal.
Crystal. Yeah, you need Crystal. Like the most important one. Like it's too many.
Is Lockjaw a sentient being, like, or is he just a dog?
Aren't dogs sentient?
Well, is he intelligent?
Aren't dogs intelligent?
He's smarter than the average bear.
Okay.
He just doesn't have the ability.
He doesn't talk. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a dog. I don't like what you're getting at, Ricky.
Like, okay, never mind. That's the news. That's the news.
All right, Clark. Just before we get into talking about the movie, I did I whipped up a special little trivia. Hit the button, Ricky. I feel like it's been a while since I've given you trivia. Right?
Let's do it.
I kind of got a little lazy on it. I don't have pictures for this one. You just got to listen to the smooth, sultry sounds of my voice. But no, I came up with some questions that are going to put you guys to the test a little bit more. You're both able to give me answers. You'll see how these work. These are open, free answers that I expect you to not be using Google for. Okay?
Got it.
No Google. All right. So first up, these are all Spider-Verse related, both movies, I believe. Maybe mild spoiler warnings for you answering these correctly. So the mildest. So first question, here we go. This is for both of you guys. Oscar Isaac plays Miguel O'Hara in these movies. What other Marvel characters has he played? Each of you has the chance to answer. However, we'll let Clark go first.
Ooh.
He has played Moon Knight.
And
And Apocalypse.
There you go. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah,
Well done, sir. Ricky knew. He knew. He was ready to go. Okay, fair enough. So that was the easy one. Bonus question for you guys. I like that. Ricky's Ian's in there in the comments. Just talking about the same things we are right now. We love you, Ian. Keep watching. Here we go. Bonus question: how many other characters in either Spider-Verse movie, or actors, have played different characters in other Marvel projects? Whoever gets closer to the answer that I have is the winner.
That's hard. That's my question?
Or actually, no. I mean, you can both do it, but I guess here's the other way to do it. Each of you can name as many as you possibly can. Whoever names more wins.
Good, because I was about to just say 4, because I don't know.
No, you're gonna name them. Ricky, you can go first.
Mahershala is one. Marvel. Not Nick Cage. Not Haley.
Why not Nick Cage?
No, I know it's not Nick. I know it's not Nick Cage. Has he been in Marvel stuff?
Ghost Rider. Nick Cage.
Oh,
Ghost Rider.
duh. Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Duh. All right. Well, we're tied.
You tied?
Yeah. There's one more. Oh, leave Schreiber. He was a Sabretooth. Right? Yeah,
Technically, Haley Steinfeld was in Bumblebee, which is a Marvel property.
No.
That counts.
Don't be dumb. Haley Steinfeld is Kate Bishop, guys. She's obviously one of them.
Oh, yes. And she's also Kate Bishop. I
actually in the MCU.
The easy answer as opposed to the convoluted. Let's think easier.
Is that all of them?
No, not even close, guys. Not even close.
I don't like this.
You're like, I don't like this one.
I don't like this one.
You don't like this one. Brian Tyree Henry, Faustus in Eternals. What?
Yes.
What? Catherine Hahn, Doc Ock, and Agatha all along.
That's right.
Yeah.
Karan Soni plays Dopinder in the Deadpool movies. That's the spoiler, by the way.
This game can only work in today. This game could not have worked during the first movie.
What? What are you talking about?
This game is easier if you had Internet Movie Database in front of you.
Oh, I just knew these. I mean, Daniel Kaluuya, come on. Daniel Kaluuya, Black Panther.
Oh yeah,
dude.
I feel inadequate in this question.
Yeah,
and I bow to your greater wisdom.
We're both gonna gracefully surrender to this.
Donald Glover plays Miles Morales in Ultimate Spider-Man as well, by the way.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, and no, you got a lot of other ones. Lake Bell also randomly was in.
Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, she's in Wakanda Forever, and she's also in What If.
Oh yeah, she's Black Widow.
Yes. Okay, fine. I'm sorry. That was too much for you guys. I didn't know the
You broke us.
I did break you. I'll try an easier one. I think it's probably easier for Clark. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's too much for you guys. I think I overthought these guys. I was having fun with these. So I don't know if you know. There's different directors for the new movie. The second one has 3 directors, one of which is named Joaquim dos Santos. I instantly recognized that name when I saw it in the credits. And the reason is because even though this is his first ever animated movie that he directed that went to theaters, he's done a bunch of other animated projects that I would say are totally fair game for this show. How many can either of you name, or can you name any?
Are they Marvel movies?
I didn't say that.
All right, so then it's gonna be the Justice League stuff, the DC stuff.
All right,
it has to be those.
Oh, I thought you were just naming things. Yes, he did Justice League Unlimited. That is one thing. I'm just curious if you guys. The reason
I didn't recognize his name.
Justice League War.
All right, I'll help you since you're just going to keep just in Justice League. So it's only one Justice League. Just okay. That's it. Just the one. No, this guy has done aside from producing almost every DC animated movie, or most of them, he's directed several of the DC Showcase shorts on different characters. But he's also done Avatar, The Last Airbender, and The Legend of Korra, and Voltron Legendary Defender. And so
Those are all good.
I just think it's super cool, like the caliber of this person that we have helming this movie, and I was just pretty impressed by that. Likewise, I forgot to mention the whole reason I brought up the how many different actors can you name. I thought it was really cool how much these types of stories are drawing these actors in more and more. I think it's really cool. It goes back to that Harrison Ford talk we were having. It is very cool how many people want to come play with Marvel anything. It's unfortunate when their agents are Jared Leto's, but otherwise it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see that. Last simple one. Well, maybe not so simple. This is a simple, easy number. I just need one number from you guys. Everyone knows J.K. Simmons is the best J. Jonah Jameson. In how many movies has he played this character?
6.
7.
Clarke is correct. Can you name them all?
Spider-Man 1, 2, 3. Spider-Man Far From Home. Spider-Man No Way Home. Spider-Man and Into and Across the Spider-Verse.
No, he's not into.
That's right. He's not in Into.
It's Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Yes.
Is correct.
It was Venom.
Nice done. Nicely done.
I still at the end. I win.
What?
That means I win.
That means you win.
Yeah.
You win if you get the bonus question.
Okay.
How many TV series has he played this character in?
Series? 2.
Clarke, you get a chance to steal.
3.
Well, Clarke, you know what? You're closer. It is also 7. This guy freaking loves playing this character, and I love him for playing it. He has played J. Jonah Jameson in the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Hero cartoon, Lego Marvel Superheroes Maximum Overload. It's a show, I guess, on Netflix. Avengers Assemble, Hulk and the Agents of Smash, Ultimate Spider-Man, Robot Chicken, and then that Sony produced online series, The Daily Bugle, that was part of the the universe that they have in the new movies. I freaking love this. I love it so much. I love that he has played this character no matter who asked him to do
It's
it.
his paycheck, man.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's so cool. But yeah, I think the reason I was just trying to do these questions is to kind of just highlight some of the things that I have to keep reminding myself to make me feel really happy about the movies that we're getting right now. And that gets me in the mood that I'm in to do this. So are you ready? Do you want to do this? You want to
Oh, yeah.
Let's go across the Spider-Verse. Here we are watching. We all saw Across the Spider-Verse. How many times have we seen it? Everyone once?
Once.
Anyone twice? Nope.
No,
Okay.
I saw it the one time. And it's not to say that I wouldn't see it again. It's just first and foremost, before I say anything else about the movie, good or bad, it's freaking long, man.
Especially for an animated film. We're so used to animated films being an hour and a half.
It's actually the longest animated film officially now. That's too long. It's too long. Other than that, let's have fun. I'm just saying that's why I haven't gone to see it again. I'm gonna wait.
If it was live action, would it be too long?
And
yes,
since it's technically part 1.
I'm saying lots of movies nowadays are too damn long.
Yes.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is too long, but I like it. And same here. I like it. I'm just saying I have only seen Guardians once in the theaters, dude.
I did watch this movie twice.
Wow, you gave
On
it like
this-
5 hours of your life.
On the second viewing,
That's pretty cool.
you can definitely see where they could have trimmed. Like you can easily take 30 minutes off this movie.
In my screening, the
Yeah.
sound messed up and they had to restart the movie, so it was even longer than not so once was enough.
I should put this out there as a caveat for anybody who joining us right now that goes to watch the movie and has a slightly different experience, whatever. I read an article today that actually this movie was patched this week. It was patched because over the last weekend that it came out, that we watched it all, a lot of audience members complained about bad sound mixing. And so Sony delivered a brand new print to everybody, every theater, with the sound readjusted. So anybody watching it probably after Sunday or Monday has a different experience. And I can honestly say, I didn't think the voice levels were really good enough for the movie. A lot of stuff drowns it out. So I'm interested to see it only because I read about the patch. Other than that, I would rather just wait to see it at home again, I think. But that's just me. 2.5 hours too long.
Well, let's talk about those 2.5 hours. If the runtime's too long, what was give me the good. Let's start off on a high note. Let's
go with the gushing. This movie is a work of art. It is gorgeous, and it also uses ink techniques, drawing techniques, coloring techniques, texturing techniques in a way that you've never seen an animated movie use it. It is beautiful.
Agreed on everything. Like I think that this movie takes what the first one did artistically and just blows it like way open. Like I didn't expect it to be that much cooler to see different styles and different just different ways of representing each world that we got to visit in that movie. Mm-hmm. It's super cool. Like they just beautiful artists. I read this team was a team of 1,000 people working on this movie. That's so many, and it really does show. Like it shows, like because everything has the most attention to detail I've ever seen. Like I think we were talking about this last week, like on the soapbox, Ricky. Like I was mentioning to you how like Space Jam doesn't age because like if you look in the background when they're playing basketball, they cut and paste like a selection of characters to fill all the stadium. Like it's the same like 8 characters moving over and over again, doing the same actual animation. And to me, I just think to myself, like, you're Space Jam. You have a chance to show off the entire Warner Brothers catalog. And you guys are too lazy to do that. Whoever worked on Spider-Verse, like Across the Spider-Verse, is the opposite of who worked on Space Jam. Too much work went into carefully making sure that every Spider-Man, minus a handful, that you've ever wanted to see was in that damn movie. And that is a joyous thing to see.
The backgrounds, the Spider-Man, the locations, none of it felt like a cameo or filler. It all got the same stroke of love. So when they're going to Mumbattan or Gwen's world, they each have their own lighting style. I almost want to say like physics, like they just behave in very different ways that make them uniquely their own.
Yeah,
and it's very
well,
it's not
they literally have their own frame rate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they did the same thing with the frame rates.
I was going to say before we go into all the details, Ricky, did you want to recap the story? Like what? I want to hear your version of what the story of this movie was. The 2.5 hour movie.
Miles, now a year into being Brooklyn's Spider-Man, gets a visit from a Gwen, from a Spider Gwen, from Gwanda, and I'm totally butchering this.
I know, it's awesome. I love it.
Miles fights the spot and then gets sucked into the multiverse with Gwen and company. He learns about the Spider Society, and all together they fight about what it means to be Spider-Man. And then the Spot does some other stuff.
That was horrible. That was really bad. That was really bad.
It covered,
Yeah,
the main.
Kinda. I mean, basically, we learn there's a Spider Society. They go to recruit Gwen, and later on in the story, you get to meet Miles. So, like, the movie actually starts from the point of view of being Gwen's movie, and that's kind of what this movie is. Like, since like it's more of a focus on Gwen a lot throughout the movie, but we do check in with Miles and make sure that we don't forget that he's still the main character of the overarching three episode thing. So what basically Miles accidentally creates the greatest supervillain he's ever seen, who has the ability to access all the dimensions that any person could ever exist in, including Venom for some reason. And because of that multiversal threat, the Spider Society is trying to find ways to prevent multiversal threats from happening, and that's where they cross paths with Miles, right? Like they have to because this is where that person.
Well, because that's where the anomaly is. So
yeah.
It's similar to the Loki thread of the concept of the time authority.
Yeah,
the Spider Society is, looking for anomalies that are going to mess up the thread of the universe.
Correct. I did get a very big Loki vibe from this.
Mm-hmm.
The only main difference is the Spider version of the TVA does not obliterate your reality when it goes veering off.
Oh, that's just the part they don't show.
Yeah.
I actually really liked that the spiders were clearly trying to help. Mm-hmm. I get that when I see it, but when I think about a bunch of Peter Parkers joining up together to save the multiverse, I really am inspired by that sense of like they want to help. Like it's an extension of the Peter that we got in No Way Home, right? Is when he's confronted with all these villains from other realities, he wants to help them, even though they're villains. And I just think it really warmed my heart to see a bunch of like Spider-Men in lab coats running out of a portal to come and try and help Mubatan, which is the Spider-Man of India, that they meet along the way when Miles accidentally ruins his canon event, right? That was the implication, right? Is that every Spider-Man has a series of events that has to happen that are horrific things that happen in their lives, but are what make them a Spider-Man or woman.
Mm-hmm.
And Miles, being the good person that he is able to do something with his power, saves a human being that inevitably is Spider-Man's canon event, right? So he just gets to live a happy life. For me, that was a funny joke, but it made me care about that Spider-Man slightly less because I'm like, he needs to have somebody die. Otherwise,
I was talking that same point with Selena. Like I understand the it's no one should tell you what your story should be or could be, right? That's kind of the overarching theme.
I think that is
but
the theme. Yeah.
No matter who it is, there is a lot of trauma in a spider person's life.
Yeah.
And I think on second watch, I just took a little bit of issue. Like, if he wants to save his dad, that's fine, but I don't know. Like, what's the event that makes him a spider person?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say we could talk a lot about that because I think that's the thing that muddles the movie a bit, but B, also like it makes you it's trying to plant a thought in your head that's not true. And I think that's the whole weird funny thing about this movie is it's half a movie, right? Even as 2.5 hours as it is, they specifically end it at this weird moment where the story is going to keep going. And it's one of those things like Endgame and Infinity War, right? Like Endgame in every way counters everything that happened in Infinity War in some way. I think the part of the story we didn't get is the part that makes us see, that all the doubt they're planting in if Miles should have been a Spider-Man or, whatever. No, of course he should be. He is Spider-Man. Like that's the whole point of the whole point of these. We're not doubting. The first movie made it impossible for us to doubt that, right?
Like something that just popped in my head looking at about this specific issue and looking at the Marvel Universe is one of my favorite moments in the House of M story. And for those of you who don't know, House of M was a thing where Scarlet Witch recreated the universe where the mutants were in charge. They were the dominant species and people had all totally different lives. And in that universe, Peter Parker was a celebrity. He was a TV star and he had a great life and stuff. So of course, when they come and then have to bring him back, change the universe back, they have a character that can see what the universe used to be. And when she looks into Peter Parker's life, she makes the comment, "Oh, that poor man who could have gone through all the stuff that he has." And it has this whole splash page of when Peter remembers all the horrible things that has happened, all the sacrifices and the tragedy that's happened in his life. And that speaks really well to that debate, and which is one of the things that I think this movie, just as you were talking about, how much tragedy does a Spider-Man have to have? Because you're absolutely right. Tragedy has been part of his life constantly.
But it's part of what endears us to the character.
Exactly.
Right? No matter what name he is. And that is why I like, as however much I rag on little parts of this movie, I cried in the first 20 minutes of this movie.
Yeah.
Because Spider-Gwen was every bit a Spider-Man. Like she was the same way Chris Pine made me cry in that first movie. When I watched that opening scene with Spider-Gwen or Ghost Spider, whatever you want to call her, dude, I was like, yes, this is everything I want every time I go to see a Spider-Man movie. And so I really do appreciate that they captured that in that moment. But yeah,
so
Miles
is fighting against that, is Miles the villain?
Well, no, but see, I think there's something to be said about like, does because
the
Miles
era was right.
No, but I'm saying just because Uncle Aaron died doesn't mean his dad also has to die. You know, he can have different traumas, and that's fine. But I think the bigger question about that, if you want to get into that, is it kind of says there's kind of only two ways that it works, or maybe both at the same time, like a Schrodinger's cat. Either Miles was always meant to be Spider-Man, because if you think about it, right, like if he wasn't supposed to be Spider-Man, then the death of Uncle Aaron would have been a canon event, or wouldn't have been a canon event.
Now, that brings in another great point that this movie made, changing from the first, because I went back and watched the first. The concept that the spider that bit Miles was from another universe and was supposed to bite another Miles. Now, that is hinted at in the first one, but it's full on in a major part of the second movie. And that goes to that question of, the destiny of Miles being Spider-Man, which has not been fully answered yet because it's part 2 of the movie. Yeah, she did call herself Spider-Woman.
Yeah. I always forget which version is calling themselves what, but we all know her as Spider-Gwen because that's literally the title of her comic book. Even that's our name for her, even though she never calls herself that. It's like our version of calling her Mando, but continue what you're saying. Sorry.
So I think that's one of, I think we're exactly right. That's one of the main themes of these movies are about destiny and what makes it, especially since now we're seeing not only what destiny changed when a spider from another universe was brought into Miles to replace the Spider-Man that was already there, but now we're going to see what happened to the universe where that spider left and didn't bite Miles, and now we see what Miles becomes without the spider bite, and how that affects the universe. And so and that interests me. I can't wait to see the next. I want to see how they resolve this.
But I question whether or not like that's even Miles down the same path though, because it's clearly that Miles has been influenced by his mother for a while, right? Because like he speaks with a heavier accent, and it's actually played by a different actor too. I thought that was really cool. But it kind of implies that his dad's been dead for a while, meaning those two universes seem pretty different already. So I'm not sure that, like, I think they're going to show you that it doesn't matter. That spider was always meant to come and bite our Miles. You know what I mean? So we'll see how that plays out. But I'd say for the sake of this movie in itself, like, I was never in doubt that Miles is also the hero, the true hero of of the overarching story. But I was also not mad at Miguel for taking the point that he did because of what I said. Peters just always want to help, but they don't always do it right. Like that's the thing. I should say spider people, not Peter. They always have the best intentions. They don't always do things right, and that is why there's so much tragedy in their lives. So it's on brand for both, right? It's on brand for Miguel to form a spider society to try and save everybody in the multiverse, but it's also on brand for Miles to go against all that. Like,
I want to bring a point that Ian said to me in a conversation earlier this week. So Ian, this is for you. He said, go back and watch the after credit sequence of the first one and notice how Miguel O'Hara in that one is very different from the one in Across the Spider-Verse. Because one of the criticisms I had was that they took the funny out of Miguel O'Hara. He's funny in the comics, but in this he's much more serious. And what Ian said is his canon tragedy probably happened maybe in between the appearance in the first Spider-Verse movie and this one. It could have, which is why he, like, in the first one he's just looking, whereas in the second one he's already formed the Spider Society and is much more serious. And I thought that was a really interesting part because the character sounds different.
Because he's trying to build, or he's testing out this multiversal technology, right? At the end of the first movie. Mm-hmm. And maybe you're right. Maybe the whole point of it, because his story is he ends up hijacking another dead Miguel's life, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, he hijacks another dead Miguel's.
Yeah, he does like Rick does in Rick and Morty, like they hijack another dimension.
He creates an incursion.
Yeah, and so he does that, and it ends up going horribly wrong, and so that is why. Yeah, that is a good way of looking at it. Is it's the same character, but at a different part in his journey. Mm-hmm. And he's being reactionary the way Spider-Mans are too. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't hold him at fault for being the guy that forms the society that's meant to like let people's Uncle Bens die. Like, I know that sounds on paper bad. I know it does, but like I said, I forgive every Spider-Man for their mistakes because they are trying to do the best they can. And I think that's what makes me believe the third movie will satisfy me.
I have no doubts that they're going to figure a way out. But
that movie does not end with Miguel still being an antagonist. Right.
No.
Because he's too likable already. Like, even if he seems like he's angry and stuff, like, they explain to you why he is, right? They explain that he lost a family again, right?
And I do love that that scene when Spider-Gwen says, "I thought we were the good guys," and Miguel says, "We are," and the way that he says it with so much conviction, it's not, you believe both of them. You totally see Gwen's perspective of this doesn't feel like the good guy, but you totally feel Miguel's perspective of we are, and we have to do anything possible to save everybody. Mm-hmm. And again, it makes both of the characters and Miles, it makes everybody so relatable. And again, which is another great thing. And we haven't even gotten to Hobie yet.
I will say this, though. I will say I do find it weird that 98% of all Spider people are Peter Parkers, and that they let the one Spider-Man 2099 be their leader. That's weird. Does that just mean that all Peter Parkers don't like to lead?
They all believe in DEI, so.
In what?
Diversity.
Oh.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's close. You know, there. Yeah, if you count the Penny Parkers and the Peter Porkers as Peters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, if they're not a Peter, they're a Mary Jane or a Gwen or an Aunt May.
I want to know what T-Rex Spider.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Peter Tronosaurus.
I think that one's just what it is. It's yes. Spider Rex. Yeah.
Spider. But yeah, that's an interesting point.
There's just one Miguel, as far as we can tell. There's just one Miguel O'Hara, and
they all have different costumes, right? Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, Miguel has another costume, but I didn't see it in there. But he doesn't have a billion like Spider-Man does. That's for sure. Like regular Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. What was your favorite thing? I guess, let me rephrase that. What was your favorite Spider cameo? Because there's the producers have boasted that there are 240 characters in this movie. I'm pretty sure it's because they had to keep track of where every single Spider person was in every scene, because they maintain that level of consistency. But, there are other supporting characters that aren't Spider people. But I'm just curious right now, which was your favorite Spider to see in this movie and why?
The popsicle. Because it's a popsicle. Like, love or hate Spider-Man, everyone has had a Spider-Man popsicle in their life. Right?
I mean,
no?
I didn't even see the popsicle, honestly.
No,
I know it's there. I know it's there, but I just didn't see it. Car should have been Peter Porsche.
That is good.
But the Lego Spider-Man was also a nice little touching point, just because of my love of Legos.
But do you know that was directed by one person? It was a 14-year-old
boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But also the Lego movie ties with the Lord and Miller crew. The fact that there's consistency within the Lego worlds, like they each do their own sound effects. Like when Peter opens up the call for Miguel, he's like, beep boop. Miguel, we have a problem. Boop boop. And that's like straight from the Lego movie.
The Lego one was pretty great, but it was also filmed differently because it was very much two-dimensional, right? It was always looking straight at a flat wall behind him and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And that's how it was cool to find out that it was directed by a 14-year-old kid, and that's what he's doing. What
it wasn't just directed; he made it.
I know he made it.
His dad bought him a new computer to do it.
I know, it's super cool. Yeah. It's really cool.
I would say, my favorite character to see was Miguel, because I've always been a huge Spider-Man 2099 fan. I read it when it came out and such. But you said cameo, and so for favorite cameo, this is another thing. I have to watch it again because I don't remember the popsicle. But I chuckled big time when the T-Rex swung by. I thought that was hilarious. So just because that's the cat I saw in the trailer, the craziness that they have of anything could be a spider, anything else, I thought was pretty funny. And then there were so many in the background. It was fun seeing Ben Reilly, but he was such a Ken doll.
He was Andy Samberg doing his Nick Cage impersonation.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was weird. I don't know. I didn't love that Scarlet Spider as much as I wanted to.
Right, exactly. I was a little
yeah.
disappointed in the Scarlet Spider.
I did feel like that goes back to what Ricky was saying, that like everybody, like, didn't feel like cameos, or like I felt like there was a lot of characters in here that were not given the 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 the,
The justice.
the consideration that they were given in the last movie. Like, it's very one-liners or one note
Yeah.
kind of things, and it doesn't let me connect with them in a way that's meaningful. Like, hell, the cyborg Spider Woman, she never even talks, so how would you even know she's a Spider Woman? Like, that was weird. Like, it was weird
Yeah.
for me. I have a toy of that, and it never has a line in the whole movie. Like, it's weird. I will say, for me, there was like one or two that it had different effects on me. The one that made me just smile because I was happy to see her in the background, and she kind of smiles at one moment, I think, is Spinneret, the Mary Jane Spider-Man, or Spider-Woman. Yeah, her name's Spinneret, and she's in the background. I caught her, and like I almost broke my neck watching this movie in IMAX, because I just kept constantly looking in every direction to see all the different Spider people I could. That's why I probably missed the popsicle. But Spinneret, I don't know why that made me smile. It's just really cute to see that among all these Peters all hanging out in a convention together, or like a space together, there's one Mary Jane right there in the corner that, can't help but love all of them, right? Like, she loves that man more than any human being in the universe. And she gets to be surrounded by hundreds of them. That's so weird and hilarious to me. And yet there's only one Mary Jane, that cracks me up. The other one that made me feel so special, because I've never seen this spider person before, was the Sun Spider. That is AKA Charlotte Weber. It was a spider person using an assisted device to get around. It was a wheelchair with spider legs. And I needed to know who that was, and I looked it up. That is a legit spider character in the Spider-Verse. And you want to know what's even crazier, guys? She was voiced by an actual woman named Danielle Perez, who is a comedian, an actor, and writer, best known as the woman in a wheelchair with no feet who won a treadmill on The Price is Right. And then she went viral and got to go and be on Jimmy Kimmel and stuff because of her she won a treadmill and she has no feet, dude. They cast an actual wheelchair person to play Sun Spider in what has like one line.
I think she has more than most of the other spiders.
She says more than most of them, yeah. But like, that's my new favorite one. I just never knew. I never knew it existed. So cool. I thought that was so cool.
That's cool.
The legs shoot webs too, is what Ian's saying. I didn't even notice. See, that's the reason I want to watch it at home again. I don't want to watch it in the theaters again because it's too long and I can't pause it. I can't pause the movie to see everything I want to see. You know what I mean?
Dennis gonna spend 6 hours watching that movie.
I will spend 6 hours watching that. I'll take breaks. I'll hydrate. Everything. But like, I want to frame by frame go through sections of that movie that are at the Spider Society, because it's too many. I know there'd be more that make me smile. Those are just the two that really extra made me smile for some reason, or for different reasons.
Yes. Did we got more multiverse stuff in this movie? In terms of the multiverse-ness of this and the multiverse stories in general, did it work for you guys? Did it make sense for you guys? Were there anything that anything felt broken? How was their multiverse logic in this one?
I think they're always going one step ahead of Marvel. I think they're, like, if the first multiverse story was, I think better than Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and in some ways better than No Way Home. Like, I think them doing the Council of Ricks before all the other movies do it. I mean, they already beat him to it. Like, I know Kang does it for like 1 second, like, but like that's they're already there. The Spider people are already at Council of Ricks level and are functioning, and we're watching them do that. Like, I think every time I watch a Spider-Verse movie, I get bored knowing that I have to go watch a million other multiverse movies that are not going to do it as fun or creatively. You know what I mean?
And I think another way that it works is how they did it, where the animation matched the world. So when you have Da Vinci Vulture, who was an amazing character, and have it look like a Da Vinci drawing, because it's animated, they were able to really, I think, encapsulate that. And then also when they mixed in the live action parts for the multiverse,
when they space jammed it.
When they space jammed it. So when you ask how did they integrate the multiverse, brilliantly.
People or the rumor mill is churning, saying that the Vulture getting sucked into Gwen's world is somehow tied and related to the Vulture getting sucked into the Venom world.
I thought it was weird that we needed a Venom cameo that wasn't even with Venom in it.
Hey man, that's a free chip to play.
Mm-hmm.
That was weird.
Playing with house money there.
I do think that the funny thing about this movie and how visually consistent they were is it highlights the inconsistency at the end of the first movie when Miguel goes into the other world and looks like they do.
Yeah.
Like, that's frustrating to me because this movie completely goes against that and shows you that they always retain their visual consistency.
It is weird because that's the logic in Doctor Strange too. They transform into whatever world they're in.
Do they?
Yeah, that's why they call it animated.
You're right. And they turn into paint too. They turn into paint at one point.
The goo.
Yeah, so it's the exact opposite for the Spider-Verse, with the exception of the stinger at the end of the first movie.
It could be that the technology improved, because remember, the end of the first movie, he was the very first. That was the first multiversal jump, and Layla says that you're now
that's
the first.
True. He did it with a jump, and the rest of them did it with a weird accident. Like, so, he has a device to make sure he doesn't glitch out when he's doing it. So you could be right. I could forgive him for that. Thank you, Clark. You helped me. You corrected my brain. I could forgive it because we are accepting that some time has passed in his life, and so why not? He could be using version 1 at the end of that first movie. I mean, that was the first test, right?
Yeah, and they specifically said that, and she's like, "Congratulations, you're the first multiversal jump."
All right, I'll forgive it now. I'll forgive it. But yeah, you are right. It is very cool to see all the visual stylings, and the Vulture was really high up there for setting the bar, so fast too. Like, the fact that they even thought that he looked like paper was just amazing, But yes, to go back to what you wanted to talk about earlier, and I cut you off. Spider-Punk was the craziest representation of this, bringing his universe to other ones. What was he? Was he a pop magazine collage? I don't. He's those old MTV commercials where the brand name changes 5 different times in 10 seconds.
He's the girl magazines that your older sisters plastered on the sides of their wall.
He was so punk, right? He was all the different flyers, the different papers you would use to put flyers up on walls.
His intro bit was probably one of the best pieces of writing I've ever seen, at least in this year. I hate the AM and I hate the PM is the greatest line ever written.
He was my favorite character in this movie. I know I'm supposed to like Miles the most or Gwen the most, but Spider-Punk to me in this movie was what the Paladin was in the Dungeons and Dragons movie. He showed up, stole every scene he's in, and then dipped out and said, "See ya," and left me wanting so much more of him than I got. You know,
I can break some of his logic though for you if you would let me.
go for it.
On
Try.
the second rewatch, as the tension's building, Miles is arguing with Miguel, all the other Spidey people start showing up. Hobie quits. He's like, I'm out. And he starts a time portal, takes it off, throws it, jumps in the portal back to his presumably home world. We then later find out that Hobie stopped by and gave Gwen's dad the watch. So how did he get back to go get the watch? Does he have two watches?
No, the second watch looks different. He has one. He made one. It's his style. It's in his style. It's actually like the same weird punk thing that he is. I don't know how to explain that otherwise. It's a different device. He made one.
Oh, okay. I just assumed it just looked like him because it's his.
No, it's a different device that he made.
I guess one of the questions is, we know that Peter Parker is a genius.
Yeah, most
Miguel O'Hara is a genius.
Gwen is too.
Are all Spider people geniuses?
Yes.
Not just the Peters. So then Hobie is a genius and could make his own device, as you said.
All right.
Yeah, we're 2 for 2.
Okay.
We're 2 for 2. That's what we're here for. We're here to make this movie better by reasoning spider logic. That's pretty great.
So collectively, our opinions are going to be great.
Again, one of the things that I loved also about him, looking at watching some behind the scenes stuff, is again the animation. They said that for Hobie and only Hobie, they animated him every 3 frames.
Wow.
As opposed to
he's every 3, and the guitar is every 2.
Miles is every 2, and the Miguel is every 1.
Wow, so, I can't. That's why they had a bunch of different teams. They had to have like 10 teams. By the way, Ian's saying he was building one the whole time he's on screen. Watch him.
Okay, yeah. He was taking all those little bits and bobs. Okay.
There you go. See?
I'll throw another nerd question at you.
He's the best character in the movie, right? Am I wrong, guys?
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Hobie's great. Hobie's the best.
Daniel Kaluuya. I just love this actor so much, man. Every time I watch a movie with him, he shines. He just shines. I'm so happy every time he's in anything. Give me more Spider-Punk, please, in the next movie. He does show up at the end, right? Like he's part of the crew. Okay, he's part of the crew. He's officially part of the crew, which is great because I love that we're getting all the different Spider people that we've seen in Spider-Verse, the comics, together for one big last hurrah.
And also, one of the things that I loved is how they mentioned him first. They call him Hobie, so before you even saw him, they foreshadowed him.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that I really liked about it.
Weird fun fact, Hobie Brown in the 616 universe is the first Prowler.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
That's what I thought they were mentioning. And then when they switched over to Spider-Man, I'm like, oh.
Well, no, that's he's in an alternate universe where Hobie Brown is Spider-Punk instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just so happens. So that's why he's black, because Hobie Brown is black too in the Prowler, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, always. So
what did Miguel inject himself with when he was fighting the Vulture?
Go for it, Clark.
I don't know.
I thought it was something to just maintain his animal tendencies, or his he has some rage issues, kind of a little bit. Like he has the.
I mean, in the comics, he does not inject himself with stuff regularly. So
okay. I thought that was a character trait.
I'm just saying, I took that to mean he's controlling something that he's trying to. I mean, he's like an experiment gone wrong too,
He's a
right?
vampire, right? He's like
No.
No,
no.
I'll give you the real quick
Is he
background
Morbius
story.
adjacent?
No.
no.
He was a scientist working for this company called Alchemex, which is the big bad company in 2099. And he his boss wanted to get more control over him. He was working on genetic manipulation, and so he was playing with the Spider-Man's genetic code and other animals' code and about imprinting them on humans and such. His boss got him addicted to this drug that's basically like super meth, where one time you have one dose, then you have to have it, and the only company that makes it is Alchemex. They use it to control people and other stuff. It's bad. So what Miguel does is takes his old profile from before he was addicted, and his plan is to inject that old genetic profile onto him to cure him from addiction to the drug. But when he's doing that, his coworker, who's jealous of him, starts pushing all these buttons and imprints the Spider-Man formula and a few other stuff into it to try to kill Miguel. But what it does is rewrites his genetic code with the spider powers and other stuff. So that's how he becomes almost like a mutant. So that's how he gets fangs and talons and spinnerets in his arms. So he was the first one Spider-Man to have the organic web shooters. And so that's how he becomes Spider-Man. But it does cure him of the addiction
Of the meth.
of the meth.
Unless it didn't.
Maybe he's just shooting up.
Yeah, maybe he's shooting up. There you go. Maybe 3 for 3, guys. We're 3 for
Okay.
3.
There it is.
We're answering all the plot holes. Okay. With that said, I have 2 plot holes I want to throw out there.
Okay.
When this movie made $1 bajillion, or sorry, the first movie made $1 bajillion, or was it Phil Lord and Chris Miller promised us a Spider-Man in the next movie? Where's the Japanese Spider-Man? Why did we not have Leopardon?
Leopardon. Yeah.
Leopardon. Did they originally think this was gonna be one giant 5-hour movie, and that's before they got it split? He better be in the second half, right? Like, am I wrong?
I
You are
remember
not
the
wrong.
rumblings of a Japanese Spider-Man, coming, and the mech specifically. Because you don't necessarily want you want the mech, right?
Yeah, I want
Yeah.
that, but I also want the Emissary of Death too. I do want both. I
And-
don't know. I don't know that I want him live action though. I don't know that I want him space jammed.
That actor is still alive, right?
Yes, he is. He did a whole
I mean, you can
Marvel
get him.
616.
You can get him in a guy in the suit and have him do the
please don't.
voice.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Guy, that guy's like 60. Like,
The voice.
fair enough. I was missing him. I don't know. Was there one you were missing? There was another one I was missing, but I want to let Clark go.
My plot hole, there wasn't one that I was missing, but it did kind of bug me when Miguel, at first, when he was telling Gwen that she can't be part of the Spider Society, he's like, it's an elite group. And then you get there and it's like every spider ever.
Not Ham.
Yeah, not Ham, not her, because she has to beg to get into it, and not Miles. But when he said elite group, I wasn't imagining an entire tower full of Spider-Men, even though I knew that was coming, but I was like, that's not an elite group. That's almost everyone. You exclusionary bastard.
I mean, I think they were just trying to say it was an elite group to like, oh yeah, did he say it to her though? Or they said that to Miles?
No, well, she said that to Miles.
Yeah,
but
I
they
don't think
didn't want
said that to
her.
They just didn't want her because you know why they didn't want her though, right? Because she's best friends with Miles.
Yeah.
That's why they didn't want her, because they didn't want her to have to make the choice that they knew she'd have to make.
Yeah.
So I didn't see it as being exclusionary in the weird way. I think he went to every spider person that he thought might be willing to do this as a group and asked them, but he looked at her and he's like, well, the whole reason we made this group is to stop the Miles. And you're kind of Miles's best friend, like, so I kind of took it as, the people in the first movie are specifically the ones that he doesn't go to, with the exception of Jake Johnson, because he's the best.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what I was just about to say. But yeah. So what's the other person that's missing that you wanted to see?
Superior Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
I need Doc Ock to be there with all the Peters. I need it, and I need him to be a main character, not like a one-line joke kind of thing. Like, I love that they showed us how many Doctor Octopuses there are, but they were missing my favorite one, which is the one that possesses the body of Peter Parker and becomes every bit better Spider-Man than Spider-Man. And he calls himself that. He actually like introduces himself as the superior Spider-Man whenever he's beating up bad guys and stuff. So funny. Have you read his comic?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just making
not all of them, but I've read bits of his line and I know the storyline.
Will you be okay if he doesn't show up in the next movie?
No, I agree with you. It's too good a character. Come on. That would be really fun to see Doc Ock as superior Spider-Man, how he would fit in with Miguel and with the other, or he would. I think he would totally see the logic of Miguel's.
Maybe Miguel is Doc Ock.
No.
So like, if I can simply explain this to you, like in the comics, he's a really big part of the Spider-Verse comics, both both of the ones they've done so far, Spider-Verse and then Spider-Geddon. There's like, he's a really big part. But I would say the best way to describe him that I can think of in layman's terms is he's like the Gollum of that story. You know, the whole team is trying to go beat Sauron, but there's a Gollum that comes in and out, and sometimes he's helping them, and sometimes he's trying to kill them. And it's very confusing because you're like, whose side are you on, bro? And it's and that's what makes him so special in that universe, right? He's that weird wild card Spider-Man that is just like super dangerous, but also pretty damn good at his job, you know? I want that so bad. And I really, really just I've tried to forgive the movie for not having those two. And because what the movie we got is really cool, with the exception of it doesn't end. It doesn't end in a satisfying way for me. What did you guys think about that? How did that feel for you?
I didn't feel burned by it. I look at it as a one of two parts. Like, I knew that going in. I don't think it was a secret going in. So once the moment came, right, the big reveal and the twist, I was like, okay, like, here we go, another year, and we'll see the exciting conclusion of Beyond the Spider-Verse.
But are you satisfied with it in the same way that you were when you watched Infinity War?
No. I felt the same way I did after watching Dune. You know, I'm like, okay, that was good, but I can't judge it until I see the next part. It's so clearly.
Really? I freaking love Dune just by itself. I love that movie.
You know, it's a half a movie, and
I don't like to like. I don't think it's a lesser of a movie for having a split. Like, I think plenty of movies do it well. This one, no outlier. Like It, Chapter 1, Chapter 2, movie ends.
Wait. Hold on. Slow down. Are you telling me that It Chapter 1 is not a complete movie?
I'm saying it is. And I feel like this movie is a complete movie.
You feel that it's a complete movie when it ends with Miles literally showing you how he's going to get out of the problem that he's in, and then it just cuts to credits? That's like, Miles, his job is to go save his dad from the spot, and he doesn't do that. And Gwen went to go get Miles to help him with this, and she doesn't do that. It doesn't end in the way that like a story is complete. You know what I mean? Like, it ends the way like The Matrix 2 ends. like
Yeah.
where whereas the difference is
Or
like when you go
Harry
and watch
Potter
it,
and the Deathly Hallows Part 1.
I mean, are you
yeah.
asking me, is it a complete ending or a satisfying ending? Am I satisfied at the end of that movie? Yeah, I feel fine.
You know,
You're satisfied with the
that is a
ending?
good distinction, Ricky.
Yeah,
That is a good distinction. Is it
it's
a
a long
complete movie,
movie.
or
It's a
was he
full.
satisfied?
Yeah,
It's not complete, but I was satisfied.
we got a lot of cool Spider-Man, a lot of great action.
After 2.5 hours, I better be satisfied.
You get a
But
twist.
I don't think I wasn't you can be satisfied with the movie and not be satisfied with the ending, though. That's a difference. I think what you're trying to say, you're trying to say if you were satisfied with the movie, then you have to be okay with the ending. And I don't think you have to be.
That's right.
I'm okay with the ending. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I didn't take issue with it. I know some people feel like it's incomplete in the sense that they show you the tools or how he's going to get out of the situation, and then it ends. It's a PG movie at the end of the
Which
day.
also is another great callback to the first one when
It's a callback for sure.
Yeah.
But like I didn't need the scene that shows me he's absolutely going to get out of it.
I mean, you expect him to die in
No, I don't expect him to die, but I expect to be left in a state of
Mr. Bond, I
concern,
expect you to die.
right? Like in Endgame or Infinity War doesn't end with them already saying, you know what we got to do? Time travel. Like that doesn't, no. It leaves you with a point of like, oh my God, how are they going to get out of this? Whereas this movie absolutely did not do that. It's like, oh, okay.
I think it did though. It's the question is how are they going to save Miles' dad and not break the Spider verse?
But the detour is Miles is trapped in this other universe, which has now become a very important part of the story in the last 10 minutes of the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This has to be addressed. Like everything that Miles just encountered at the end of the movie, it needs to now be addressed before we even deal with the other stuff, or possibly simultaneously. It's adding an extra layer to the movie too late in the movie to explore in any meaningful way, and so they just cut it off there. And I think that is what frustrates me more is like I did want to see Miles going to try and figure out how to stop the Spot, and then possibly something bigger happens in the third movie beyond the Spot. But now I have to have the Spot be the bad guy of two movies. And that to me is weird because I don't
Thanos be the bad guy in 2 movies.
Yeah,
Thanos got set up 8 years before he became the bad guy.
You got Loki being the bad guy in 2 movies.
So Ian says, I was satisfied with Gwen's story and am excited to wait for the rest of Miles. So talking about how the movie started with Gwen's arc, ended, kind of with Gwen becoming a leader, a change in Gwen's arc. DK says, from the perspective of the producers, who isn't going to be anticipating the next movie with an elevated sense of tension, it's good PR, and I love the lack of resolution, feeling-wise.
Like, I don't think you can complain about have issues with the runtime and then say, well, I needed them to resolve the conflict.
You yourself said you saw 30 minutes they could chop out of that movie.
Yeah, I did.
Would it have been maybe introducing another world where Miles is now
maybe
not
trimmed
really trapped?
I maybe would have trimmed the scenery there.
I'm saying it to me. If you see spots where you could trim the movie, or you see spots where the movie could have ended differently, it leaves room to debate that the movie is not as satisfying as the first movie. And that's where that's where my negativity comes from. Is the first movie set the highest of bars for me. It is my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time. And for me, it's hard to see this movie and not compare it to the first one. And so to know that the first one has such a complete and satisfying story told in 20 minutes less than this one did, it's a little frustrating to get one that couldn't even like close out the first chapter of that two-part story in a more satisfying way. I think that's where my complaints come from.
I can see that, but I think that's a flavor thing. So, but I can definitely see your point.
So we're done.
Yeah.
I got.
Well, let's tee it off. Wrap it up with what's the resolution of Beyond the Spider-Verse? How do they save the day?
Miles goes up to the spot, pulls out Spider-Ham's mallet from his invisible pocket, smacks him in the head with it, and wins. Why did Miles not use the mallet? I waited the whole movie for the mallet. They even referenced the hammer space. Come on, man. The mallet better save the day in the third movie.
Clark?
That's what it did. This movie made me have demands for the third one. I don't like having demands, but now I have demands. I need Superior Spider-Man. I need the mallet. I need Leopardon, and probably something else.
Miguel's going to sacrifice himself to save the day, and Miles.
Ooh, I'll one up you there. I think Jeff, Miles' dad, who they changed his name, by the way.
No, you didn't.
Or they changed. He's not Jeff Davis. He's Jeff Morales in this one.
No, he's not.
If you look on his badge, he's Morales now.
Now, as in both of these movies, or
in just the new movie, he is Morales. In the first movie, he is still Davis.
Really?
I think that's a comic change though, because Jefferson Davis is not a good person. Historically.
Okay, what were you predicting with him? This was a tangent.
I think he will sacrifice his life willingly to save Miles. And that's the the canon event, right? His dad dies, but it's a choice that his dad makes, not necessarily Miles failing to save him. And I feel like that's the big reveal, right? Is that choice, losing, giving himself up for his son for the greater good.
I don't know what that means, though. What does that mean?
Like Miles was put in a situation where he can't, his dad needs to sacrifice himself to save Miles.
I think Miles is going to show that he can just do things better than all the other Spider-Men, and he's going to save his dad. I don't think he has to have another death just because. Like, I think that's kind of the point is like, if Miles isn't supposed to be Spider-Man, then every crazy thing that's happened to him so far should have been an anomaly opening a hole in the universe, but it didn't. So it means that everything that either happened to him already is perfectly canon, and they're all wrong, and they shouldn't be messing with it. And whatever happens in his life is canon, whether or not it be good or bad, because they don't get to decide. So I think if it's truly Miles' story, he's going to show them they're wrong, and he can do everything on his own. I think that's the satisfying thing for me. Like, I don't want to see Jefferson die just because I'm some sort of sadist. I think the Uncle Aaron thing was awesome, and it was a really cool twist because I was waiting for Jefferson to die in that first movie, and so he doesn't need both of them to die. They're both gonna die. Fair enough. Everybody's entitled to their fun predictions. It's cool.
Well, there you have it, folks. We enjoyed, I think, more so this week than last week, Beyond this or across Spider-Verse.
I told you.
Fucking
That's
title
right.
didn't mess me up.
I tried to talk myself into it. That's why I did all the weird preps I did just to get myself jazzed. Yeah.
Well, we'll be taking a break next week, and then starting up the following week, we got some more Marvel action. Secret Invasion. Did you watch the first 5 minutes, by the way?
I did not watch.
They're online right now. They literally did a little teaser. Pretty Civil War, or not Civil War. Pretty Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Esque.
All right.
Little high drama.
I know I'll be watching it, so they don't need to give me any more. I'll be watching it.
For the record, we'll also be talking about the Flash that week too when we do that.
Yes, we will touch
because that's going to come out next week, right?
Yes, next week the Flash comes out.
Yeah, we'll be sure to at least address our opinions of the Flash in that episode, even if the focus is on Secret War.
I'm Batman.
Yeah, we all know why we're really going to see the Flash, and it ain't the Flash.
Yeah,
we all know. We all know.
That's
a weird thing. That's automatically 1 point deduction on that movie that I'm going to see it not for the titular character.
I forgot what toy line it is. I think it was in the Androids or some Hot Toys, but like they showed like the Flash movie toy line, and it's literally like 10 Batman figures in one Flash figure.
Duh. Everybody knows why. Come on.
Well,
anyways,
we're gonna get nuts, so let's get nuts. But before, let's get out of here. Peace out, guys. Enough said.
All right. See us on the Soapbox.